We are live. As you can see from the background, we have probably the biggest guest we're ever going to have on this lowly live stream, and Jeff Neubarth, who's obviously looking at something else other than this screen, as you can see from the reflection in his glasses.
Well, I'm trying to read this. I'm trying to read the big press release that just came out, JB. Turner to simulcast charity iteration of the match moments ago, hot off the press.
And since we are live, we can kind of say this is something you're involved in, and you were involved in the first match.
Yeah, so I'm excited and honored that I'm going to be producing this one. In addition to, you can sort of see the bottom of it behind me. That's a poster from the first one that I was lucky enough to produce. But yeah, super excited. I don't even know what info came out in the press release. If you can give me 20 seconds just to kind of look at it. Okay,
yeah,
we have a date, we have a time, we have a golf course, and we have the format that's announced. We have challenges, and we have sponsors that are being announced. One of those being Callaway Golf.
And I'm going to be honest and say, you're obviously a huge Tom Brady fan, being a Dolphins guy. So you're probably really excited about this one. Shout out, Roger. Thank you. This was a shirt, Travis Matthews shirt from the Budget Championship we did, where we bought AJ.
Do you recognize this this Travis Matthews shirt?
I do. That's a good one.
This was worn during the Granddaddy when once again Team Callaway beat Team THP. Fun fact: Johnny Rodriguez and I have never participated on a losing Granddaddy team.
And Johnny Rodriguez, next time he shows up, his handicap will be 37, and he will still shoot 68. But no, this is somebody's commenting about the liquor in the background. This is in honor of Jeff being his bags, not water. This
Plus,
one,
it's 2 o'clock for you guys.
People could see it was a gift from a company, and it says Paradise City. That I figured this awesome. Was only appropriate. Nice chair I have here that's squeaking. Let's get back to the match. You were involved in the first one. Obviously, you're producing the second one. We won't go into huge details, but how excited are you about this?
Oh man, I mean, talk about a lucky opportunity, right? I mean, to get to help produce one of the first and one of the most highest anticipated returns to televised sports. I mean, I'm really lucky because I have the greatest job in the world working for Callaway Marketing. And then a couple weeks a year, whether it's for Fox or for Turner, I get to kind of get my, itch scratched on getting able to produce some live television, because there's nothing like the rush of live television. I mean, you and I are feeling it right now as we're doing this live stream. If we would have done this on tape, it wouldn't be nearly as exciting.
No, definitely. And it always brings me back to a video you did with Dinez for us, where he kept saying we're live and you kept saying we're not live.
We're not live.
I got a question on the forum for you, and it's about the match. And people said if you were the decision maker, which in my opinion you should be, for both either the match that already took place or this second match, where would you host it? I mean, it's these 4 guys, you could take them anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty cool that we're playing at Tiger Woods' home golf course. The thing that makes or breaks these events is the quality of golf. So when you go to a place that's either tricky or the greens at Shadow Creek, and I've not been able to play it, but I was there plenty of times before, watched some of the practice rounds. Those greens have such crazy subtleties in them that you're just not going to make a lot of putts. So going to a place like the Medalist, which is Tiger Woods' home golf course, you'd think he'd know those greens pretty well. So
do you think he stacked the deck so he could possibly compete with Phil this time?
No. I think it's just, the challenges of doing anything right now in sort of the COVID world are immense. And having the ability to have Tiger, as a member and one of the lead, personalities at that golf club made it a lot easier for sure. I also think there's a big safety factor. Look, number one priority to us doing this event is keeping the players, the crew. We're going to have the smallest crew that's ever covered a golf tournament of this size doing this crew, and it's all about safety. We're all going to be tested. We're all going to have a limited quarantine. So that's kind of what we're up to. All right, let's see. We got a question here from Chris.
Yeah, what did you learn from producing? So I figured we throw it up there.
Yeah, I mean, we learned so much. And I think one of the biggest things we learned is that the quality of golf is going to dictate and kind of take on where you're going in terms of challenges. We're not quite ready to announce all the challenges right now, but I can tell you there will be certain ones where all 4 players will be able to participate, and one of them will be for a sum of money like you've never seen before, all going to charity. So it's pretty awesome.
I was going to say a phone number, but I thought that would be out of place.
No,
But
yeah, no. You know what? That's without getting too deep into the story. That's a very good friend of Tiger's wives. If it's a good friend of his, so it was something between them. But that's a family that Tiger from well before the match. Yeah, there will be some type of integration like this. Look, it's very hard, Dax, to mix charity and gambling. So we have to walk a tight line on that one. But yeah, there'll be some type of odds and stuff, and it'll truly be something. Hopefully that'll get people going. And look, the real winner of this thing's going to be all the money that gets raised.
I have an idea. Speaking of that, since we have Dax Jeter and it's not 806 or anything, is we could do a little live update thread with him facing off against Jason Finley again with some money going to charity. That could be a lot of fun.
Well, I think we should do that. And all we got to do is get them, each to go out there, just like we're doing this stream. If you kind of moderated the stream, did play-by-play, I'd happy to be your color analyst, and they each play by themselves, socially distance, and played 9. I wouldn't want to watch 18 holes of this, mostly because I'm not sure Finley's physical fitness
Let's
of walking
be honest,
18
probably
holes.
going 10, so...
Yeah, but I don't want to have Jason have to walk that many holes. But yeah, it would be closed out early. But let's just make it a 9-hole match, and then we'll just make it 5 and 4. We'll become the new 8 and 6. Pressure's all about. Hi, Mike G. Pressure's all about how you respond to stress, right? A wise man once told me that. So to me, the job of a producer is simple: to anticipate everything that can go wrong and try to come up with a contingency plan if it does go wrong before that happens. So yeah, we'll have rehearsals and we'll have contingency plans. And look, all that means in terms of a smaller crew is we're going to keep it simple and we're going to do less. So, we're not going to have all the innovations you would have at a Fox US Open broadcast because we're going to do it with less people. But we're going to make sure the show is good, clean, and compelling. And look, what's the most interesting thing on the show? It's hearing Tiger, Phil, Peyton, and Brady talking. So as long as we have them talking and you can hear them, we're going to win.
There's a lot of gold in that foursome with rings and belts and this and that. So you already got that one. This question was rather unique because I think I know the answer, but we're going to just say it's the Granddaddy belt because it makes for better TV.
Yeah, well, of course it'd be the Granddaddy belt. I mean, it's like saying which kid do you want to give up? Those things are both super, super special to me. But look,
but there's only one Granddaddy belt, and you do have
exactly.
3.
That was the point. Number one. Number two, I like sharing and being able to share the Granddaddy belt, to let Johnny wear it for a couple days and to let Finley wear it for a couple days. I'm at the entire victorious team. We're happy to wear it. But on a serious note, I do want to commend everybody on the forum for how everyone behaved after we had to give that unfortunate news of the Granddaddy being postponed for a year. We didn't take that lightly. And look, I like to joke about Jason all the time, but Jason takes this serious, so serious. And we had lots of calls about it. And we made the right decision, I think. And who is not excited for the grandmama?
No kidding. I was a big Larry Johnson fan and UNLV guy. Yeah. But I have one more question I'm going to throw out to you, and then I want to ask you a question on my side that you can kind of explain to people. But this one, I was going to ask you this before we actually started. Mm-hmm. Are you doing that yourself? Because it does look pretty good.
Nope, I'm not.
Paige doing it?
That's all I'm going to say about it. No.
Okay.
I don't want to get the state of California mad at me. No, I would just say that, in the age of prohibition,
need the authorities coming?
In the age of prohibition, I would have found a way to have my Tito's on the rocks. In the age of COVID, I find a way to get my hair cut.
Well, that's very impressive. We got a question, and it's something that I've talked to you about before, but a lot of people don't know your background and how you ended up at Callaway, because you came there in a unique position. Not many golf companies have an executive producer, media production guy. Not many golf companies have a media production company. Can you kind of walk people through your background, starting with USA way back in the day?
Sure.
You're going to date yourself to be my age, but
sure.
We'll be okay with it.
So the funny start of it is the way I like to tell the story is the reason I got involved in television to begin with is Vanilla Ice. So I was a sophomore in high school down in Miami, and Vanilla Ice had said that he went to our high school. So I was, the young person on the newspaper, student newspaper, and they said, "Hey, write this story." And long story short, we discovered he didn't go to the school. We partnered with the Miami Herald. We wrote an article about who his true background was, and it got picked up by Time Magazine, by Newsweek, and all the national media. Again, this is all pre-internet. So I got called into the principal's office, which I wasn't excited about. And the reason I got called in was that Channel 10 down in Miami, the TV station, had read that article, and they were starting a kids television show. So thank God it's not on YouTube, but there was a show called By Kids for Kids that I was one of four. My mom has all the VHS tapes, and they're locked. Was one of four, kind of high school kids who helped to work on that. But through that, I got to meet a couple of Syracuse University grads. One, John Frankel, who's been on Real Sports, and the other, Bob Richbloom, who was the news director, who would go on to be the executive producer of Good Morning America. They helped me get interested in Syracuse. I attended Syracuse. I ended up interning at USA Network to get to where you are when John Frankel was the lead host of USA's US Open coverage, and then they hired me after I graduated. So it was pretty great. I graduated on a Sunday, and on Tuesday I was flying to Paris, France to do graphics for the French Open tennis. Was at USA through the NBC merger in 2003. Did a year sort of a freelance where I did a lot of stuff in the Southeast, doing Fox Sports South, a lot of ACC basketball.
Was
and
Sunshine
then ESPN,
Network around back then?
Sunshine Network was, yeah. So it was picked up nationally by Fox and distributed to all the regions. But yeah, Sunshine was a part of it. And then I went to ESPN, and couldn't have been luckier that I got to work with a director by the name of Jimmy Moore, who is still the director of the NBA Finals and the lead NBA show. And Jimmy immediately asked me to be on their basketball package for college hoops, and that turned into Sunday Night Baseball, which was one of the biggest shows. Up All Night was edited, Dax, in the edit rooms kind of near us, which was kind of funny. But never got to work on that show, only sports for them. And then from there was lucky enough to carve out a good run at ESPN. And then in 2012, I went to the Golf Channel when Molly Solomon took it over and was one of her first hires, and I was the executive producer of Morning Drive after the Eric Casillas era. But it was Gary, Holly, and then we kind of redid the show and added Damon and Matt Janella and kind of a lot of the people that are still there now. And then from there, Harry Arnett was one of the guests on that show. And look, morning TV just wasn't for me. I'm very intense when I get around production, and having a show that you're responsible for 7 days a week, basically 350 some odd days a year, because we took a few days off for European tour and around the New Year, it burned me out. After 18 months, I had to get out of there. So it was a decision that was not very, great. Don't worry, Josh Miles will be in here in a few minutes. He's finishing up a nap. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I reached out to Harry. Harry and I had a connection from him being on the show. They had a December ad shoot at Grand Cypress in Florida. I went to the ad shoot, and Harry and I sat after the shoot and worked out a deal where I was going to move cross country from the Florida market to San Diego, and best decision I ever made. And I owe that to Harry having the vision and wanting to create something unique, something different. When people would say Callaway Zags, and couldn't be happier. It's the best job in the world, and I'm lucky to be a part of an amazing team.
Question I have to throw up there because
I never worked with Peter. I got to Golf Channel in 2012. Peter was long gone, but certainly,
weird, according to him, there's never been anything on the Golf Channel since he left.
Yeah, I did get to work a little bit with Kelly Tillman, which was a great experience. I got to work with Ahmad Rashad, which was super fun. They were kind of the Tuesday, Wednesday group. And look, morning shows are really, really tough, but they're even harder when you're someone like myself who beats yourself up for every little thing that goes not perfect. And I don't know if you remember the show that Matthew Perry did for NBC that was about a parody of Saturday Night Live. That as soon as the show was over, he had the clock in the corner that said how long till the next show, and he had 6 days and 22 hours. I literally would get off the air and have 21 hours till the next show. And the two producers who worked with me, Kyle Brown and Aaron Beard, and Aaron is still there. Aaron's now basically the main kind of managing producer of the show under Kevin Schultz. I beat the hell out of them up at 4 a.m. meetings because I was grumpy. I was staying up till 9, 10 o'clock at night, getting 3 hours of sleep, getting in the office 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we would meet at 4 o'clock to go through the show, and it was hard. But I wouldn't trade that time for anything. I learned a lot about myself.
I mean, that's not happening for the Callaway Live and things like that for the podcast.
We don't typically meet at 4 o'clock in the morning. We had a really fun podcast today with Retief Goosen. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous about that one because he's not known as a very loquacious personality. He was amazing. He brought it. He had a lot more energy than I thought. Yeah.
I'm going to throw some questions out here. Some are important. Some are fun.
All right. Will I be playing in the Grand Mama? Look, I will be a participant in the Grand Mama. We haven't really figured out who's going to play. I would like to say that we're going to create an experience that is kind of unique, given sort of what we're going to try to do. So my gut is, if there's 2 days of golf, there's going to be 2 different groups that play in the Grand Mama. And I will either be out there in one of those groups playing, or I will be out there walking with the group supporting. Maybe I'll caddy for someone in the Grand Mama. Who knows? I will be a part of it, but I want to make sure that everybody on our team gets a chance to participate as well.
You would be great in a cart that we set up as a bar.
Yeah, it could be the beverage cart.
Yeah.
Best meal I've cooked at home.
Bet it doesn't have any carbs.
It doesn't. So there's a great restaurant group here in San Diego called CH Projects. I'm lucky enough to be friends with Jason McLeod. He's a 2-star Michelin chef. He's amazing. He talked me through, I bought some cast iron cookware during COVID, where all the money went to restaurant worker relief.
Oh, cool.
But Butter Pat Industries, they're amazing. He says it's what they use in all the restaurants. So he gave me his recipe to take a filet and cook it kind of restaurant style, where you put a little butter in the pan, sear it for about 5 minutes on each side, and let it rest for 10 or 15. Then you put about 3/4 of a stick in butter, some garlic, some tarragon, whatever spices you want, and you basically spoon the butter over the steak for the 3 minutes. And it was absolutely amazing. Don't sleep on Luke Williams carnitas. Luke is an amazing recipe, and JB, I highly recommend you get him on one time doing one of these while he cooks it live. He marinates it, cooks it all day. Luke's carnitas. I
pictured Luke as more of a Nordic cook.
Yeah, we've all kind of gotten into the slow cooking a little bit around here. I did a slow cook pulled pork a couple weeks ago that came out pretty good. Those steaks were outstanding. Paige made an amazing meatloaf last night. Look, one of the fun things we've done is we're supporting some local farmers in Vista, just north of our office. And we do a box that comes every Wednesday, and we get all kinds of random vegetables, and then the fun is figuring out how to do it. So we did a cauliflower. Again, Chef Jason gave me this recipe. You'd like this one, JB. You take the cauliflower.
You said cauliflower, so the answer is I wouldn't.
Yeah. We're trying to find Miles the cat. We don't know where he is. Maybe he went outside. Maybe he's in with Harper. But we took this cauliflower, right, and we boiled it for 5 to 7 minutes, let it sit for 15, kind of let it drip dry, and then made a butter that had cayenne, chili powder, garlic, salt, pepper, and basted it. And every 15 minutes, we cooked it at 400. Every 15 minutes, you basted a little bit more, and it just came out amazing.
That sounds horrible, by the way.
Yeah. Do I know the pops? I don't at this point. Sorry, we luckily just got the announcement made. The format is going to be better ball on the front side, and then it's going to be a modified alternate shot on the backside. That's what I can tell you at this point. Oh man, I played last night. Harper and I went out and walked 9 holes. Our golf club opened up last weekend.
Which course?
Loma Santa Fe, okay. Which is just about 1 exit up the road. If I pointed this direction, Torrey is about a mile, basically down my street and then up the hill, you get to Torrey. So that's kind of the geography of where I live in Del Mar. So we played yesterday. Harper and I played 9 holes. She plays on the high school girls golf team, but I played Saturday with the family. I played Sunday and then played yesterday, and I'm trying to do 9 holes kind of at the end of most days if I have time. But what's in the bag right now is the Maverick Max driver, and it's obligatory. You mentioned the shaft, right? So I have the Hulk shaft on that one. Yeah, I have the Hulk shaft. I'm not a Hulk shaft player, but I spin the ball too much. I'm very, very steep, and I'm trying to work on that. So the Hulk being so
THP
stiff.
green, I get it.
Yeah, but also the stiffness of that, and when we de-loft it from 9 down to 8 to try to take spin off of it. For the fairway woods, it's kind of interesting. I'm using the hazardous yellow smoke, and I'm using the 3+ Max. Again, same thing, trying to take spin off, and then the 5. But I'm kind of between the 5, and then I got my 2 super hybrids, or super hybrids as I like to call them. I have a 17 and a 20, and the 20 was just on fire yesterday. And then my irons are Apex irons, kind of with an XP 95, 1 degree up. Jaws wedges, a 54 degree W grind and a 58 degree X grind. Keep in mind, our golf course has Kikuya, so it's basically beautiful fairways and then Kikuya. So that's why I have those grinds the way that I have them. And then from there, my putter is a number 10 triple track. I'm all in on triple track. And
Luke
I think
got
it's
me
crazy
suckered into it too.
It just, you know what, the number 10 shape is really nice. And I had an Atlanta putter that Sean custom made for me that's just beautiful, and I love the look of it. Probably better. It's just a
But you
cooler
think
looking
Atlanta,
putter.
and you think you're going to get robbed of birdies?
No, I don't think about that.
Of birdies?
I think, yeah, no. I like Atlanta, unlike you. But I think the number 10, look, I have a little putting green in the backyard, just a small little 10-foot thing, and I make more putts with the number 10. So
I feel that way about the Marksman.
That's kind of what's in the bag. And yeah, and I'm using Chrome Soft Red Box with triple track. That is my golf ball. I'd love to fill. Kevin, I'd like to actually have all the people who've whipped me in singles in the Granddaddy. So I guess I'd have to have everyone to beat me. So I'd have to have Dean and JB to talk about the alternate shot match where nobody could see the golf ball. I'd have to have Kev, and I'd have to have Sizzle on. Sizzle probably played the greatest round of his life against me. I seem to inspire people about that. Kevin and I had a great match that went down. But maybe at some point we can do that. Have some of you guys on the pod to talk about beating me. But Phil, it would be Phil would be number one on that list, and I hope to have him on it soon. Yeah, we have an Instapot. We use it for artichokes. We used it for artichokes last night. We do kind of a burrito bowl, as JB was alluding to. Paige and I have been following the keto diet for a little over a year. So we don't do a ton of it. Kind of limits some of the stuff you can do, but yeah, I make an Instapot, a keto chili that I love. The Instapot's great, but it's funny. One thing I've learned through this kind of stay at home is I like to make dinner, especially on the weekends, take all day to do. So we kind of do that. The other thing we've been doing, JB, is we've been doing a takeout Friday, and over the 7 weeks of takeout Friday, my order's been screwed up 5 times. So
nice.
Takeout Friday and me just don't get along. What did Joe Pesci say? They F you at the drive-thru. So yeah. I've been personally experiencing that. With a little breaking news, we don't know where Miles the cat is. So he's outside, maybe? Did you check the garage? Yeah. Outside the front gate? All right. Well, Miles will make an appearance as soon as we can find the cat, but that's
I actually got a question earlier that somebody, and I don't want to scroll back to go get it, but somebody asked which pillow on the couch there, which throw pillow is Miles' favorite.
Miles tends to actually, if you look, there's a blanket here.
Good thing you have pants on.
Yeah, no, I get up. It's funny. One of the things with COVID is I get up the same time I would if I was going to the office, and I shower and change and dress the same way. I have to.
And get
but right there on that lovely blanket, that shout out to Lex. Lex actually made that blanket for us. Alexis Eater, who of course is on this Gonzo 21 or 21 Gonzo in the form.
21
Miles
Gonzo,
loves the lay right there. Here's Paige and here's Miles the cat. Where was he?
He was asleep in the closet, behind your shoes.
Oh, of course he would be. All right, come on, Miles. Can you say hi to JB and everybody on the pod? Everybody.
Wow, is it weird that did you, when you go to the stylist, do you tell them you want the same haircut as your cat?
Yeah, Miles and I tend to get our haircuts at the same time. That's Paige, everybody. She can't hear because I'm listening through on headphones.
She's missing Cody, absolutely nothing.
I know. Loved your show, Grilling with Grillo. It was really fun. And if you guys haven't participated in the charity that Emmy has going on for Argentina, I highly recommend it. I did 1,000 pesos, which he told me was around $43-$43. So feel free to match that, and let's try to help Emmy out. Go to cocktail on the golf course, probably Tito's and soda. Up there he goes.
Something that's
Tito's
not water.
Soda. Yeah, something that's not water. I do have to say I don't drink gin and tonic often, but on a hot day, Joe House got me that a gin and tonic on the golf course is outstanding. All right, Miles is leaving, but you want to say goodbye to everybody real quick, buddy? All right, say goodbye to everybody real quick. 18 years old, follows at Miles the Siamese cat on Instagram. All right, you can go eat, buddy. That would be go-to cocktail. That is the one thing, JB, though, about keto is, there is something about a light beer on the golf course, and it's just something you don't do anymore. But that's something that certainly used to be in the wheelhouse.
Did the blueberry vodkas from the Hideaway, do those fall under keto?
Yeah. Again, if my version of it is I'm trying to get 25, carbs a day or less. So it was really funny. I don't know if you remember the piece of content we did with Golden Tate where we took him to Port Rush. Yeah. So I worked out my day where I literally ate 0 carbs and had 3 Guinness at night. So you got to play with the system sometimes. But yeah, the last time I went to the Hideaway, we definitely had a
just for you. I had a handful of Reese's Pieces before we started, so I would have the carb intake for the day for you.
Yeah. But I'll tell you at the Hideaway, don't sleep on the Bloody Mary. and Al and I have been known to just have a little tequila on the rock or tequila on the rocks, which is pretty good.
To be fair, he thinks you're having it. He's having it with a guy named Neubaum.
You know, it's getting to the point now where that's just my name when I go to the desert, and I'm okay with it.
We all accept it. So I'm gonna finally we're gonna end this here. We're gonna have Jeff back on, but I gotta ask. You're a big Dolphins guy, like my wife. Tell us about Tua.
I mean, so what was really funny is, and you guys haven't got a chance to meet the new vice president of marketing, Nick McAnally, who you'll have to have on one of these. Nick is from Scotland. He grew up very close to St. Andrews. Amazing love for the game of golf. Just moved. Imagine this. Imagine moving your family halfway around the world right before a worldwide pandemic hits. That's what his world's been like. And then trying to deal with the changes in the golf industry.
Seems like a routine Tuesday.
Yeah, it does seem like a routine Tuesday. But I'll tell you, it's. I was on a conference call with Nick and a couple other people, and sitting right here, and the draft was going on. And I have a 14-year-old son, Landon, who we do our own podcast about the Dolphins on dolphinstalk.com. And my other screen to the right.
How did I not know this till now?
Oh, yeah. The Landon and Jeff show, dolphinstalk.com. We're like in our third year. And it's basically the chance to hear my kid talk about the Dolphins because he's pretty smart about it. Yeah, you got to check it out. But so Landon is texting me nonstop. And I told everyone before the meeting, I said, guys, when we get to the 5th pick, I might need a moment. And I wanted Tua all along. I wanted Tua for over a year. We were lucky enough to go to the Rose Bowl this year and watch Herbert play in person. And he's going to be a hell of a quarterback. It's just not the quarterback for me. I believe in accuracy first. And I just
and the Canadian Football League needs quarterbacks too.
You know, Herbert's better than that, but I think Herbert's going to be better on a team that is Keenan Allen, where he can just throw it up and let Keenan run under it, than he would be on a Dolphins team that has a young offensive line. So when we got Tua, I literally went crazy. So I was just telling JB this before we started. Tua has the number 1 and number 3 selling jersey. He's outselling Brady. And they haven't even gone with the throwbacks, which if the Dolphins by 21 will be in throwbacks full time, which I can't wait for, especially this week, right?
You should mention that Brady stat to him when you're producing that.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, this was a tough week as a Dolphins fan with we lost Coach Shula. So it was a very, very tough week. You know, I started attending every Dolphin game in '83, and Shula was always a hero of mine. So, you know, that was definitely tough. But, look, you know, Tua is probably going to redshirt most of this year. We'll probably have a series of plays for him where he comes in and does a series of half and is electric. And I'm very patient with this. And then next year we'll be able to draft him some weapons. So super excited about the Tua.
He'll be starting by week 10.
Hey, I wouldn't be upset about it. I can't wait.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming on. If you have questions for Jeff that didn't get answered, think we got to most of them, but if you have questions for Jeff that didn't get answered, go to the forum thread, drop them in there. I'll send them to Jeff.
I'll happily jump in.
He'll jump in, or I'll
By the way,
for you.
This is the first time I've ever done anything THP that Clayton hasn't asked a question. Clayton, I'm a little hurt.
He asked about 20. I just didn't get to them all.
Oh, okay, good. Well, can you
I'll throw in a Clayton one real fast. Nope,
Clayton?
That's not Clayton. I'll throw in a Clayton one real fast.
How many wins does Tiger finish with, and how many Emmys do you finish with? I'm assuming I'm done with Emmys, but maybe max one more.
One for this.
You know, the competition will be less this year because every other sport's been canceled. How many wins does Tiger finish with? Are we talking majors or are we talking overall? I mean, I think he's going to win 3 or 4 more times overall. I think at least one of those will be majors. Look, it all just depends. Does his body hold up? That's the $1 million question.
What is the one thing you want people to know right now about as Callaway and the rest of the golf industry reopens? What's the one thing you want people to know?
You know, look, this is going to be a challenge for all of us, right? And we completely understand that the discretionary income is the first thing that goes when income goes. So we get it. Look, we're going to still create great products, and we're going to create products that we hope you guys are going to want to try. And this is the same thing I say to everybody. All I ask you to do when new stuff comes out is go try it. And if it's better for you, great. Then make a decision if it's in the wheelhouse to be able to purchase it. If it's not better for you, then stay with what you got. If you find something else that's better for you, that's okay too.
Unless you're Jason Finley, in which case he wants you to lose a lot of golf balls.
Yeah, but that's as I say, you're going to lose golf balls at some point. It's just fact of life. I mean, yesterday I hit a 3-wood too good that actually turned too much that went out of bounds. It was
we call that over puring, Jeff. You over.
Yeah, it was perfect. But go try stuff. And then don't be afraid to reach out to us and tell us, what we need to do better. We love hearing from you guys, and you guys in the THP forum have sort of special access to us. You can hit us up at any time. You can call JB at home and he can relay messages to us. But just
true story. He tried to give out my phone number at the PGA show this year.
But just try to, just work with us. And look, we understand that this may not be the time to buy a new Maverick driver, but I'd still love you to go hit it and try it. I will say the golf ball is really, really good. It's gotten a lot better. Good. So that's something that, you're going to need anyway. So at least at some point, try it. But I think the industry as a whole, we all kind of need each other, and you guys are a big part of the industry, and we need to all focus on what needs to happen. And look, I'm lucky enough to work for a company that has very compassionate about the industry as a whole. And as I told JB, if I had to pick one CEO to lead a company in a tough time, it's Chip Brewer, and everyone else is playing for third place. So, it's going to be an adaptive time. We're all going to have to adapt with it. One thing you guys may or may not know about is, JB, are you familiar with the distance fitting initiative that Michael Verska and the team just started?
And we actually have something big coming on that, thanks to Mr. Verska there.
Great. Well, if you just go to CallawayGolf.com/distance fitting, you can sign up, and basically it's a 30-minute phone call you get. And I think it'd be funny if you guys did kind of a Jerky Boys style video where literally you all called them and just pranked them all for a day and asked them some crazy questions that THPers are known to ask, and have a lot of fun with it.
That sounds like a good idea. So we're going to have Jeff come back on. This was a lot of fun. Don't forget, guys, next week we have Sean Toulon on here. And if we get to ask Sean one question in 30 minutes, or more than one question in 30 minutes, I'll be shocked. So thank you to everybody tuning in. Thanks to Jeff for taking the time to do it today. We have a lot of fun. If you have questions, again, go into that forum thread, post them in there. He doesn't care if it's about food, Dolphins, Callaway, Emmys, and everything else. So exactly. So for myself and Jeff, bye, everybody.